If y'all could see how my room looks right now, it's not cute. Hello everybody, welcome back to a new book video. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you clicking on the video. This will be probably the last video of the year, which is kind of funny because this is like my third video in this new era and it'll be the last one of the year. But I have it set up that way because today we'll be doing a reading wrap up, which is basically means that I'll be going through my reading journal and I'll look at the books that I read this year, and then I'll pull them all out and we'll talk about them. Just give like a quick review of each. So yeah, let me go find them really quick. Okay, so watching this back and editing this, I do notice that I have a reflection on the right side of the screen and the bottom right of the screen that will be very apparent. That is because of my trash screen protector, so I will fix that very soon after uploading this. I'm sorry, and I hope you still enjoy the video. Okay, bye! Okay, after that taking much longer than it needed to, here are all the books I read this year. Getting them into this not so neat pile is like getting a bunch of kids ready for a group picture. It took a long time and it was not easy, but here we are. That is all of them. Normal People's Hiding, and so is Love is a Mixtape. So this will be kind of like a review session, wrap-up session, just of everything that I read this year, and it will be spoilers. I'm sure that's obvious. This will be a spoiler video, obviously, since I'll be talking about them and giving my star rating, referring to my reading journal as I go along. So let's get started. So first, if you know me, you know that this book infuriated me a whole lot, and it was Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. It was... how do I say this? First, let me tell you guys what I rated it. I rated this book 3 stars, which looking back on it, I wish I did not do. It's basically, so this girl, the trope is brother's best friend. I got that mixed up. It's brother's best friend. And she falls in love with this guy, and he very much, as I read the book, I was thinking, this man needs therapy. Can you please go get therapy and then come back to this girl? A main character's name is Tate, by the way. It's Tate and Miles, and they start a no strings attached, friends with benefits kind of relationship. And at the beginning of the agreement, Miles was like, okay, this can't go anywhere. I can't promise you a relationship or anything, so it's gonna be strictly just sex, you know. So with this trope, Tate eventually does fall in love with Miles, and he's harboring this deep trauma that's been with him for years and years and years, and you come to find out that he had a baby with his girlfriend in high school, and they lost the baby in a tragic car accident. They drove into a lake or a river, one of those. Ever since he lost his child, he's just been so distraught, so traumatized, so unwilling to open up to anybody romantically. He is unable to just face that trauma and move past it, which I understand that. I understand having trauma and because the healing process is not linear. I understand that. I see that. But the things he does to Tate in this book, the way he treats her, the way he continues to just treat her like absolute crap, like the whole book, she's trying to get to know him, she's trying to open him up and be there for him and care for him, love him, but he continually just treats her like absolute garbage. And reading this, I don't know, and I annotated it too. I was like, let me see, I don't know. And just the way okay, so this book is told in past present perspective, so it's gonna be Miles from when he was younger with his girlfriend Rachel, and present time with Miles and Tate. And the flashback chapters, just look at how that's written. I was sitting here like my eyes just got confused a lot. I did highlight a bunch of stuff. I dog-eared a bunch of pages. You can see how I had a lot of questions. I swear there's a part in here where I was like, honey, what is that? What is that? I'm not trying to be mean. It's just thinking about it realistically. Would I let a man treat me like that? No. And if I do, someone shoot me, because that's not me. I just didn't like the character, and I don't know. Overall, I did, like I said, I rated that 3 stars. If I could go back in time to my past self reading this, I would be like 2 is pushing it, honestly, maybe 1.5. I don't know. I just did not like the way he treated her. I thought it could have added way more to the story, and as I make more of these videos, I'll learn to articulate myself better. When I try to explain books, I'm not the best at explaining my feelings, but all I do know right now is that could have gone a lot better. Let me stop bashing this book, and I'm gonna move on to the second book I read, which is the beautiful, the stunning Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Queen Mother of, oh my goodness. This is the book. This story was turned into the Prime Video adaptation, which came out in March of this year, if I remember correctly. And this book was just stunning. The show was stunning, but we're gonna talk about the book, and because this is a booktube channel. I highlighted so much, I underlined so much, I analyzed so much of this. I love the way this book is written because it's an interview style. So it's told through each member of the band. So it's called Daisy Jones is the main character, and there's 6 other people, right? Yeah, 6. She's a girl coming of age in LA in the late 60s, so it's like kind of like a period piece, I would say. She wants to be a rock star, she wants to have her songs noticed. And eventually she, also wanting to be noticed is this band called The Six. And Billy Dunn leads them, and he has a girlfriend named Camilla, and she finds out she's pregnant. And he has, I'm just like summarizing the back of the book because I'm so bad at remembering what I read. Pressures of impending fatherhood and fame. He does go a little bit wild on the road. So that's like, he deals with alcoholism, drugs, a bunch of things that kind of mess with his relationship with Camilla, and you understand like the dark side of being a rock star. There's always a dark side of a rock star that a lot of us don't get to see. And I feel like this book really touched on that. Like there was a lot of deep conversations that were had. There was a lot of fighting, a lot of arguments, there was a lot of pain and suffering that each character went through. And it was very, very, at times it was hard to read because I got so attached to these characters. I wanted to hug each of them and tell them, it's okay, you're gonna be fine. Each character, there's more characters than the band that are interviewed, like the band manager, the producers, everybody else that was involved. This book, I will tell you, it changed my brain chemistry. Like there's so much like quotable lines in here. Like I can read y'all one if you want. There's the one we all know where it's Daisy saying, okay, I'll just read y'all this one. It's Daisy saying, I didn't care about anything but songwriting. The singing was okay, but I didn't want to be some puppet up there singing other people's words. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to sing my own stuff. And she's just amazing. There are a lot of like there are a lot of storylines that don't pan out the way I want them to, and it's just like, oh. The star rating that I gave Daisy Jones, let me go back to my reading journal. I gave Daisy Jones 5 stars because Taylor Jenkins Reid is just that girl. The book I'm going to be reviewing after this is another one by her, and I'm also excited for that one. But for now, I just feel like this was such a compelling story, just a really analytical view of 60s and 70s LA, just the rock scene. And you feel, reading this, Taylor Jenkins Reid has such a way of like writing to make you feel like you're in the 60s in LA. You're there. Like you close your eyes, you can see everything, you can hear all the music that's been played. Like it's just, she does such a great job at putting you in the place that she's writing about. So yeah, there is and I feel like if you watch the show, you'll appreciate it more. It was just such a good story. Next book I'm going to be covering, and this is probably, out of all of these books, this is probably the best one I have read this year. That is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by the same author, Taylor Jenkins Reid. This hopefully is becoming a movie, I think, or a show sometime maybe in the next few years. I've heard rumors, but oh my gosh, guys, I could write my dissertation on how good this book is. If I ever have to write a thesis in my life, I will defend my thesis and dissertation on this book. I will write it about this book. We have Evelyn Hugo. She's this Cuban Cuban American. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think she's Cuban American. She's this Cuban American girl in the 50s or 40s, and she wants to become a pop star. She wants to become the best actress this world has ever seen. And how does she get there? She goes through, she has this glamorous and scandalous life, and she hires this reporter in present time, Monique Grant, to write her biography about her entire life. And just, oh my goodness, the twists, the plot twists, the twists and turns, her love life, all the husbands she married to get her to where she is today. It tells her from making her way to LA in the 50s to leaving show business in the 80s. She was, in this book, she was in every hot movie coming up. She was in every single, she was just the main actress that everyone wanted to support. She marries 7 husbands, obviously by the title. She has 7 husbands, and each husband teaches her, not teaches her, but helps her, I want to say, like, they are a big part of her life in some way, and along the way she falls in love with someone that is the person that she truly loves. She wants to be with that person so much, and so she'll do anything she can to be with that person. There is this one quote that I want to read to you guys. It's just, it touches my heartstrings every time. I'll read it to you. People think that intimacy is about sex, but intimacy is about truth. When you realize you can tell someone your truth, when you can show yourself to them, when you stand in front of them bare and the response is "you're safe with me," that's intimacy. It's just so good. And why am I talking like it's a spoiler-free video? Okay, spoiler. She meets this woman. She does a movie with a woman named Celia St. James, right? Celia St. James, and she falls in love with that woman. Bottom line, Evelyn is just she is ruthless in how she approaches life. Like, she just wants to be the best. And I feel like if I remember correctly, there's a line in there where she says, I didn't even want to be an actress. I just wanted to have power. Because her whole life she was discriminated against for being Cuban, like, and being a woman on top of that. Like, nobody wanted to give her the time of day. Nobody gave a crap about her. Her mom died, I believe, if I remember correctly. Sorry guys, I just read this book like so early in the year. I don't remember, kind of don't remember. I have like amnesia about books, but she wants to have the life that she and her mom wanted for them both, because her dad was like a POS, like he didn't care about her, and she wanted to be as successful as she could be and prove to everybody that she could do it. Like, she could get the power. But this book, just reading it, felt like I'm in a movie. And again, with Taylor, she writes such compelling characters and such amazing visual, like, imagery. She writes such amazing imagery. And each chapter, there are chapters about each of her husbands, and there are 7 like big chapters. Okay, there's like 60, 70 something chapters, but there's parts where it's like Mick Riva, Cameron's one of her characters, right? I'm so bad at this. Cameron, and then Don is like the worst husband out of all of them, or like one of the worst. He treated her so bad. He hit her. She would go to work and be on set with a black eye. Like, she would like put makeup on it. Like, it was, oh my goodness. I really do recommend this book. 5 stars for me. If you want to see a love story, but not a love story at the same time. Like, it has romance, but it also teaches you life lessons. I feel like this is a good example of like literary women's fiction. It's such a good book. Okay, the next book I'll be reading, I'll try not to talk too much on like each book, because I've already been filming for like almost 20 minutes and I don't want to keep you guys here too long. But People We Meet on Vacation, Emily Henry. If you know, this woman wrote Beach Read, which I read like last year. And this book, I read that it was based on the movie When Harry Met Sally, and I love that movie with all my heart. So I loved this book, but not as much as I loved Beach Read. For this book, I gave it 4 stars, because it had something that, it was missing something that Beach Read had, and I can't quite place it. I don't know. But this book is about 2 best friends. They love traveling together, and they're complete opposites. You know, she loves to travel and he's like a homebody. He loves to stay at home. And every year they go on like an annual trip get together. And then one year they have a trip where something goes wrong, or not goes wrong, but it's like something happened that they didn't expect to happen. Spoiler alert, they kiss. And which the aftermath, they don't talk for like years after that, and there's like no communication. They kissed and they didn't know how to deal with it. So they ended up not talking for so long, and then they finally reconnect because to take one last trip together. They have a week to fix everything. They have a whole long week to fix what happened between them. I don't know, I just feel like if you like just talk about it, and then you'll be fine. If they did that, then this book would have been like this long. It's for the plot, guys. It's for the plot. It's such a good rom-com-y book. The banter, oh my god, Emily Henry writes banter so good. And of course they end up together, and it's such a cute, sweet story. I love traveling, so I really did love this book. It's like a summery, beachy book. It's just the summer vibes are immaculate. Just that's people we meet on vacation. If you want a good rom-com-y, Meg Ryan inspired book, this is a really good book to go. Emily Henry, she writes so good as well. Next book by the same author. This book and the next book will all be by Emily Henry because I was kind of on a Emily Henry binge this year. Book Lovers, this is probably my least favorite book that she's read. Book Lovers, I gave 4 stars as well. It didn't quite hit the 5-star mark that I wanted to give it, but the characters were still likable. We have Nora and Charlie. Nora is like this workaholic. She works in the publishing, or she's a literary agent. And she goes to this small town with her sister, and I think this is like enemies to lovers. This is Charlie Lastra. She's like a competitor. They're like competitors in their industry or something. I love like small town vibes. Sunshine Falls, North Carolina. I'm booking a trip like right now. Again, it's the same rom-com-y vibe as this one. I did highlight quite a few things in here as well. I listened to this on audiobook, which audiobooks are I feel like they're getting more and more popular, but they're just the best thing ever. I love the rediscovery that Nora has with herself, because she like grounds herself and she remembers there's more to life than all this working. And Libby's all like, you should fall in love with like that cute Charlie guy, and she's like, no, but they do end up getting closer and closer together. What I did like about this book though, what I will give points to this book for, is Nora's background of being so like having to be the breadwinner for her family, her mom struggling so much and eventually passing away. She feels, as being the big sister, she feels like, oh, I have to take care of Libby. I have to take care of both of us. So she feels like she always has to take care of everybody before herself. Libby reminds her and lets her know, like, you're not alone. Like, you can't keep like taking care of everybody else before yourself. Nora has like that sweet realization, like, oh, I have support, like I'm not just here by myself. The end does get a little bit like sad because she has to choose between going back to New York or staying with Charlie. I think they moved back to New York. I don't know, guys. I have the worst memory. That is Book Lovers. I do recommend this book. It's another rom-com-y vibe. I also read Happy Place by Emily Henry, same author. Very pretty cover. It's basically about, it's the same thing. Had a past quarrel, if you will, about something. We have Harriet and Wynne. So they were engaged. It's a friend group, so it's a found family trope. Very cute book. They were engaged and then they broke up for reasons we don't know about till like the end of the book. They go every summer. Them and all the friends, they go to like this beach house in Maine, which, first of all, lovely vibe setting right there. Like, I already want to go to Maine. They broke up right before they're heading on this summer excursion, and they haven't told anybody, and they, for some reason, probably the plot, they don't want to tell anybody because they don't want to ruin the vibe, because two of their other friends in the group are getting married. So they're all like, oh, we're doing like a double wedding, that's gonna be so cute. And Harriet and Wynne are just like, should we tell her? That's the whole premise of the book. And as you read further, I think it's past and present perspective. Yeah, it's in past and present perspective, which the past chapters being called Happy Place, because that was when they were in their happy place. And then the present chapters are called Real Life. So relatable. Happy Place, I give 5 stars actually. 5 stars, it seems pretty accurate because the romance was just so so good. It was so well written. I wrote right here, you can cut the tension with a knife. Yeah, I love when there's like tension scenes when you know they want to like scream at each other and like pull each other's hair out, but it's just not happening yet. I'm just like, oh my god, drama. They just dwell into their past fights, their past arguments, and why they broke up, and then they end up getting re-engaged again, which is so cute. Romantic comedy. And yeah, that's Happy Place. Next book. I posted about this frequently on my Instagram story. Normal People by Sally Rooney. Sally Rooney, literally, please write the eulogy for my funeral. She does write with like no quotation marks on dialogue, so that's something you have to get used to. She writes these characters, Connell and Marianne, so well. They're two high school kids that meet and like kind of fall in love in high school, and as the years go on, as they go into university, they are on and off. They both see other people, each of them, they're both in relationships. They continue to come back to each other time and time again. You just know they're perfect for each other. I'm gonna say another spoiler. They don't end up together at the end, which pisses me off to this day. But I'm thinking about it, I'm like, in a way it's like realistic, because not everybody, people who love each other don't always end up together. That's sad, but it's reality. And you just see Marianne's inner dialogue. I wrote Helen as a pick-me, literally, she was such a pick-me. Talking about this book, I'm getting really in depth here. At the end of the book, Connell gets, because he's a writer, he's into literature, he's into all of that stuff. Samesies. And he has an opportunity to study in the States for like this big writing internship thing deal, whatever. They're finally like back together again at the end, and he gets that email. He gets the email. He tells Marianne, and he's like, tell me to stay and I will. And she wants him to stay so bad, but she eventually is like, it's like the old saying, if you love someone, set them free. That's basically what she says. Like, you've done so much for me. Like, I'll read it to you. You didn't ask, but I'll read it, the last few lines to you. She closes her eyes. He probably won't come back, she thinks, or he will, differently. What they have now, they can never have back again. But for her, the pain of loneliness will be nothing to the pain that she used to feel of being unworthy. He brought her goodness like a gift, and now it belongs to her. Meanwhile, his life opens out before him in all directions at once. They've done a lot of good for each other. Really, she thinks. Really. People can really change one another. You should go, she says. I'll always be here. You know that. No, but literally, there were multiple times in this book where I didn't want to keep going, because I had a feeling, without it being spoiled for me, I had a feeling that that was where it was gonna go. I know that Sally Rooney just does not like happy books. She does not like happy things, so she writes pain in her books. I'm joking, but this book I gave 5 stars as well. A little itty bitty book, and I gave it 5 stars. I don't care. It was so good. It was so relatable. Like, just Marianne falling in love and being with all these Marianne being with all these like crappy boyfriends, and she always gravitates back to Connell, who like treated her like crap in the beginning. That's what I didn't like. That's one thing I didn't like. I'm like, he wanted nothing to do with her. Like, we're never gonna talk about what happened between us. He acted towards her like, oh, I don't know you, like, you're scum, whatever. But in private, they were like together. They were so affectionate. I guess he was just like popular. He's like, I don't want to be associated with you. It's like interesting because later the roles are kind of like switched. He's like, in the beginning, like, he's popular, he's like put together, he's confident, and Marianne in the beginning is like very shy and reserved and just timid, and at the end the roles are reversed. Like, she's a cool, confident, popular girl in university, and he has like anxiety and like deep-rooted anxiety that he ends up going to therapy for. It's just interesting to see how those roles, those personalities, they just change. So that was really good. I'm gonna reread this when I need to feel pain, so that'll happen eventually. I did a reading vlog-ish where I read Matthew Perry's memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. This book shattered my heart into pieces. I gave this book 5 stars, and I'm not trying to be biased because he was in Friends, which is one of my most favorite shows. I really did enjoy his story, and I know it's like, maybe now that I think about it, maybe I shouldn't rate memoirs, because they're like, it's kind of like wrong to like rate someone's life story. Maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. Besides that, I really think that he wrote it really good, his story. And did Matthew Perry have a ghostwriter? Can someone let me know in the comments, please? Because I don't know. I did underline a bunch of stuff where he talks about his relationship with God. Like, I thought that was really interesting. I love the pictures where it shows like all the shows he's been on, his childhood, him with the Friends cast minus Lisa Kudrow. I don't know where she was. I just thought it was such, he had such a sad story, and I wish it could have gone differently for him. It's nice. The chapters kind of like, I did love the chapter names. Like they were pretty interesting. He had a bunch of interludes which showed like different like anecdotes in his life that he, like more specific, that he wanted to talk about. But other than that, I thought this was a really good read. I listened to this on Audible, some of it, and it added to the experience, because audiobooks do that for me. Like they really do add to the experience. And I'm just happy that he got to write this, you know, before he passed away. So yeah, that's Matthew Perry's memoir. Last and final book I will be reviewing, this little slice of pain right here. This and Normal People Could Be Twins because of the pain factor. Love is a Mixtape, Life and Loss One Song at a Time by Rob Sheffield. As a music lover and as someone who loves music being related into like being related to life and writing, this was such a good read for me. 5 stars as well. Like I mentioned, I think I mentioned in my reading vlog, but if I didn't, I'll say it again. Rob is, he chronicles his life growing up and meeting this woman, Renee, who he ends up marrying. They fall in love, get married, and they're only married for like a few years before she passes away of a pulmonary embolism. And just him writing about that. I didn't even know what a pulmonary embolism was before reading this. And I found a playlist on Spotify with like all 600 or 300. There can't have been that many songs, but there was quite a few songs in that playlist, and I listened to it and I found a few hidden gems, so that was pretty good. The writing is can be like sarcastic at times. And like, let me read you this cute quote about him talking about Renee. Is there any scarier word than irreversible? It's a hiss of a word full of side effects and mutilations. Severe tire damage, no backing up. Falling in love with Renee felt that way. And I got so attached to like this couple that I looked up pictures of Renee, just like I was curious to what she looked like. Their relationship was so cute. They met in like 1989, and they were just married. I think they were married until like 97 when she passed away. I like that he didn't make their relationship the whole point. Like, I know it's called Love is a Mixtape, but he also included like anecdotes for the bigger picture of his life and how music affected him as a person, which I felt was really relatable. Also, the part where he writes about how hearing a certain song can take you back to a specific time in your life, which is like a scientific thing, like it's really real. I love that part. He definitely knows a lot about music. He's a editor, yeah. He works with the Rolling Stone magazine. That's basically it. It's such a cute little book that you could finish in like a few days. It took me like 6 months to a year to read this, so yeah, I'm kind of a slow reader. But anyway, okay, so I just finished filming and I just remembered that I have another book that I didn't mention. It's called Galatea and it's by Madeline Miller. It's like a really thin book, and it's like a retelling of the myth of Galatea. And the rating I gave it was 5 stars. It was a really good retelling. I don't know much about Galatea, so I don't have anything to base this review on, but the writing was so good. That would be my first story I've read by Madeline Miller, the retelling, and I thought that was really good. So I wanted to add that before I upload. Okay, bye. That is the end of today's reading wrap-up. That's all the books I have for you. I didn't really explain any of the books that well. Yeah, I gotta get better at that. I'll get better at like articulating my thoughts and feelings better. But yeah, this will be the last video of the year. I gotta finish recording and then I'll start editing this, and after this I'm gonna take a thumbnail and I'll get it up before the end of the year. And then I have a lot of video ideas for next year, 2024, and I have a good feeling about this. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if I sound like nasally. I hope I'm not coming down with something. But yeah, I'll see you guys next year in the new year, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay safe and spend time with your families, and I'll see you guys later.